Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now both Bitcoin and Ethereum are playing out this short-term pullback that we've been expecting, because in the immediate short term we're seeing a lack in bullish momentum, which I'll talk more about in just a moment, alongside some other price targets and levels of support to pay attention to, so definitely stick around. Just starting off on the daily Bitcoin chart, and as you can see here, we now have a visible rejection on this daily time frame from this horizontal line of resistance, which is sitting at around 22,000. So this just means that the price of Bitcoin is still in this choppy sideways price range that I've been talking about for a few weeks now. And this Bitcoin price action that we've seen over the past few days strongly reminds me of what we saw at the very end of May, entering into the very beginning of June, because during that time period, obviously the Bitcoin price at that stage was in a choppy sideways price range. We ran into resistance, and for around 1 to 2 days, the Bitcoin price was chopping around right at that level of resistance before then we got a little bit more of a rejection. And as you can see, that's pretty much exactly what we've seen over the past few days. Obviously, a pump up towards this level of resistance, followed by a couple days where the price was just chopping around this level of resistance. And now we're seeing a little bit more of a rejection from that level of resistance, just like what we saw at the very beginning of June. But keep in mind that next significant move to the downside in the middle of June, that was heavily caused by the really bad inflation numbers that we got around 1 to 2 weeks after we had that rejection that I was just talking about. And it's only a few more days until we get new CPI data that updates the inflation rate of the US dollar. But if you want more information about all of that, check out my previous 2 videos on the channel where I went into more detail about all of that stuff. And in case you don't already know, these sideways price ranges have been extremely profitable to trade Bitcoin. And this isn't even talking about leverage trading. I'm talking about this video that I posted around 1.5 weeks ago that covers a simple method to make money trading crypto in a bear market. So for those of you who have not seen that video, I strongly recommend you checking it out, because for anyone who watched that video and set up this bot that I talked about in the video, then over the past 1.5 weeks, you've basically been printing money, making a lot of profit during this sideways price range. But anyway, while we're on the daily Bitcoin chart, taking a quick look at the Bollinger Bands indicator, which hasn't really changed since yesterday, so I'll keep this really quick. Basically, for anyone who might be new to this channel, the Bollinger Bands indicator is currently in a squeeze formation, and this usually happens just before an extremely volatile move in the price of Bitcoin. And so right now, we're simply in one of those phases just before potentially an extremely volatile move. But once again, this hasn't really changed over the past 1 day. So if you want more information about this, check out my last video on the channel. And now zooming into the 12-hour Bitcoin chart, and we're still forming this ascending triangle pattern, which is technically more of a bullish pattern than a bearish pattern, considering the somewhat horizontal highs and higher lows. And when it comes to this pattern, the levels to watch out for, first of all, resistance would be coming into play at just underneath 22,000, and our level of support is coming to play at around 19,500. So if we continue with this rejection further to the downside, then I would be expecting quite a lot of support at around 19.5k. But just like we found support at 19,000 due to this golden pockets back here, if we're drawing the Fibonacci retracement tool from this low up to the most recent high, this places the second most important Fibonacci level, the 38.2% Fibonacci level, at around 20.9k as a potential short-term support level. But more importantly, we have the golden pocket, which is sitting at almost exactly $20,000 per Bitcoin, which should be acting as even more support if the Bitcoin price actually makes it down there. So these are the sort of levels where I'll be expecting some sort of Bitcoin bounce in the price action if we actually reach these levels. And obviously, as of recording this video, the Bitcoin price has seen a short-term bounce from this 38.2% Fibonacci level. And now zooming further into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, and you can clearly see that these short-term bearish indications that I've been talking about over the past few days are playing out on the Bitcoin price. But in case you missed my last few videos over the past few days, I've been talking about a potential downtrend forming in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI, which is a bearish indication in the shorter term, and also having that bearish cross in the 4-hour Bitcoin MACD. That was another short-term bearish signal telling us that we're losing that short-term bullish momentum that we've seen over the past 1 week approximately. And in order for the Bitcoin price to start regaining some of that short-term strength that we've seen over the past 1 week, I'd like to see the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI begin some sort of uptrend again, and also I'd like to see the histogram within the 4-hour Bitcoin MACD start approaching that zero line, but ideally if it crosses into the green, that would be even better because that would signal a bullish cross in the 4-hour Bitcoin MACD. And as you can see, the last time that happened, that was pretty much a perfect buy signal in the short term for Bitcoin. So just to summarize the Bitcoin part of this video so far, the immediate short-term trend on just the 4-hour Bitcoin chart and smaller time frames is technically more of a bearish trend at the moment than a bullish trend, but once again, this is talking about the immediate shorter term. But if you zoom back out to the daily chart, you can see that the short-term trend relative to the daily time frame is technically a sideways trend, a neutral trend for Bitcoin, just chopping around sideways, but the larger trend on the daily time frame is obviously still a bearish trend. And then once those inflation numbers are released in just a few days, that would likely signal the next significant move on the daily Bitcoin chart, especially if the inflation numbers deviate quite a lot from what we are expecting. But anyway, getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this right here is the daily Ethereum to US dollar chart looking at the Bollinger Bands indicator, and once again, nothing much has happened over the past 1 day. We're still currently in this squeeze formation, just like what we were in back in early June and also at the end of April. And once again, historically speaking, this means we're about to see an extremely volatile move coming sometime soon for Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. And now zooming into the 12-hour Ethereum chart, and obviously we still have this ascending triangle pattern in its formation phase with a line of support coming into play at around 1120 and a line of resistance coming into play at around 1270 to 1280. So those are the price levels that I am paying strong attention to for Ethereum. But some other levels of support we could pay attention to, taking a look at the Fibonacci retracement tool, we have the 38.2% Fibonacci level coming into play at around 1160 and the golden pocket coming into play at just underneath 1.1k. So these price levels can also act as support for Ethereum as well. And if you're zooming into the 4-hour Ethereum chart, you can clearly see that these bearish indications I've been talking about for the past few days are having an effect on the short-term Ethereum price action. Once again, this downtrend in the 4-hour Ethereum RSI and this bearish cross in the 4-hour Ethereum MACD are both bearish signals telling us that we're losing that bullish momentum, but obviously this has already been happening for the past few days or so. And right now, at the time of recording this video, the 4-hour Ethereum RSI is currently in the lower half of the RSI indicator, which means technically it is closer towards oversold than overbought, which is what we want to see in order to potentially confirm some sort of short-term bottom. Just like how the moment the 4-hour Ethereum RSI reached overbought territories, that basically confirmed a short-term top just on the 4-hour Ethereum chart. So for now, in the immediate short term, technically this is looking slightly more bearish than bullish, but this is talking with a time frame of a matter of hours or maybe even days. And then we'll likely pick up much more volatility when we get those inflation numbers in just a few days once again. And also the signals that I'll be looking out for in order to help confirm more bullish price action in the shorter term would be if the 4-hour Ethereum RSI approaches oversold territories, just like back here. That would be one bullish signal. But aside from that, a more reliable bullish signal would be if the 4-hour Ethereum RSI begins another short-term uptrend with some higher lows and higher highs. And also if we see the histogram within the MACD indicator move towards that zero level and eventually cross back into the green, meaning that we've seen a bullish cross in the 4-hour Ethereum MACD, that would be another bullish signal that I'll be looking out for in order to potentially confirm some short-term bullish price action over the next few days. But once again, we have not seen those signals as of right now. Those will just be the signals that I'll be looking out for, but we haven't seen them just yet. So just quickly recapping the Ethereum situation at the moment, in the immediate short term, we're looking slightly more bearish than bullish, but zoomed out to a larger time frame like the daily chart, for example, and we're still experiencing a lot of choppy sideways price action with the much larger trend on the larger time frames still obviously being a bearish trend. And if you want to maximize your profits in crypto, check out one of these videos popping up right here. The video in the top left shows you how you can make money if the price is going down or up, and the video in the bottom left is that previous video I was talking about, which reveals how you can make money in a choppy sideways price range. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.